watching movies and jamming out. K-Flix 198.4 Fiction Radio.
Welcome back to K-Flix Fiction Radio, everyone. I am super pumped for today's show. Now, if my calculations are correct, when this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're going to see some serious shit, Dustin.
Fuck, I wasn't ready for you to come in hot like that. That was just so good. God damn. I thought I was just going to be like, hey, everybody.
No, this is show 6. We're getting in the groove now.
Podcasts, where we're going, we don't need podcasts, except this one.
If you haven't guessed by now, we're tackling Back to the Future today, kids.
That's right, we're talking about Doc Brown and Marty McFly, their adventures into the past, and how Marty may have just invented rock and roll.
May have. I think he did. He flat out did in terms of the storyline of this movie.
Yeah, I guess so. You know, if Marvin hadn't called his cousin, who knows where we'd be. Yeah, Back to the Future. This one feels... It feels silly to even go through the steps of explaining like what this film is about. I feel it just feels so ubiquitous and beloved.
It is one of those classic movies that keeps spanning new generations, which is pretty cool, to be honest with you.
It's pretty amazing that they haven't done the thing that everybody does and, you know, made a fourth installment as a cash grab in the later years.
They did do a video game.
That's true. I think that was a really cool way to do it.
Yeah.
Because it's not, I guess it is canon, but it's not the same thing. So it's like, if you're not into that, you don't have to worry about it.
Exactly.
We all know about Back to the Future, but we're here to talk about the tunes from Back to the Future.
Speaking of the tunes from Back to the Future, Dustin, this was once again pretty successful soundtrack.
Oh, yeah.
Gold record. It went gold.
What's gold? $500,000?
Yeah, $500,000.
$500,000 on a soundtrack. Oh, those were the 80s for sure.
Spent 19 weeks on the Billboard Hot 200, and it topped out at, get this, number 12.
Wow.
And, Dustin, I have a copy of this soundtrack on vinyl.
Oh, do ya?
It is not the original pressing. It is one from a few years back from Mondo. It has a really cool...
Oh, that's cool. Is that original artwork they made for the soundtrack?
I'm pretty sure it is.
Oh, that's great.
And the vinyl itself is a really cool tricolor. It's blue, gray, and red.
Oh, dope.
And the vinyl also comes with this really cool Save the Clock Tower flyer.
Oh, look at that. There's the flyer.
Yeah.
Well, that story spans 2 movies at least.
Even the third one, because they're building the clock tower in the third movie.
That's right.
Now, before we do the full deep dive into the songs, I have 2 quick things I just want to ask you about, Dustin.
Yeah.
First off, have you realized that if Back to the Future came out right now, they would go back to 1994?
I knew where you were going with that. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if it came out today, he would, the timing's pretty close, but he would basically go back and play a song with Bob Cobain, who would call his cousin and be like, I got the new thing. This grunge shit is amazing. Oh, that's a fun and depressing fact as an aging human being.
Yeah, it made me feel good and old, I'll tell you that much.
Here's a fun one I heard the other day. This is not related to Back to the Future, but the launch of MTV was closer to World War II than to now.
Oh, interesting. Mm-hmm. Well, on a less depressing note, did you catch Elijah Wood's cameo in Back to the Future 2?
No, I read about it. I didn't, but I read about it after I'd seen that scene. I forgot to go back and look. I did not catch it. He's a kid playing a video game, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's his credit. Kid playing video game.
And to get us back on the musical track, Dustin, I've got a pretty cool fun fact to get us going.
What you got?
We're going to start it as a true or false.
Okay.
When Marty wakes up his dad, George, in the past, pretending to be a space traveler with a cassette tape from one Edward Van Halen. True or false, that is actually Edward Van Halen playing the guitar on the cassette tape.
Oh. I don't know. I'm going to say true.
It is true.
I mean, it sounded like Eddie.
But the kicker is, it was not made and recorded for Back to the Future. It was made and recorded for a different movie from 1984.
Oh.
Starring Chris Penn, Eric Stoltz, who was famously fired from Back to the Future.
Yeah.
And Leah Thompson.
No way.
The movie's called Wildlife, and here is that song. It's called Out the Window. So Eddie Van Halen did the score for this movie.
For the whole film?
For the whole film.
No shit. Yeah. I've never heard of it. So what's the connection to the Back to the Future production? How did they get their hands on this clip?
I honestly, I don't know.
Interesting. There's got to be a tie in the background somewhere. Usually when stuff like that pops up.
Yeah, I mean, one would think. I don't know.
This was not a film by Robert Zemeckis or anything like that.
No, it's written by Cameron Crowe.
Oh, weird. Okay.
So when I found that out, I thought it was pretty cool. Then there's something even more cool about the score for the movie Wildlife. Dustin, I'm going to play you a song, and then you can tell me if it sounds familiar to you.
Okay.
You're going to hear some dialogue because I had to pull this out of the movie. The score for the Wildlife has never been released, so I had to pull this clip from the movie.
Oh.
Hey, Jim!
Does this sound familiar to you?
Oh, I got it right away. I got it right now. It came out like as soon as you played it.
You got the clip right now when I played it? That's the second
right
you
now.
got? Yeah, right now.
Yeah, right now.
This song
Yeah.
right now? Yes. Uh-huh. How crazy is that? That's so cool.
I've always thought that that big bass piano key sounded film scorey.
Right?
In right now, and I guess that's where it came from.
It's so good.
When was that song released? Do you know offhand?
1992.
Oh, wow, he sat on it for a minute.
Yeah.
Okay. Before we got on the air, you told me you found some stuff, and you weren't kidding.
No, man, no.
So the proto right now appeared in a movie called The Wildlife from 1984, another song from which appears in Back to the Future in the scene where Marty wakes up his dad in the past.
Yeah.
That's quite a connection. It's quite a series of connections. Yeah. That scene, by the way, where he wakes up his dad, I love how they mixed this movie because, like, I leapt out of my seat.
Oh, yeah.
When I heard that. That was a good jump.
Yeah, they want to wake you up and George at the same time. It's a double wake up. Mm-hmm.
So, speaking of bangs...
Yeah.
This movie kind of starts with a bang, right? Yeah. First little bit of guitar we get in the film. I don't know. I wouldn't call it music per se. But the first note that we hear is when Marty goes into Doc's lab and decides to play a little something on his gigantic ass amplifier.
That is maybe the biggest amplifier I've ever seen in my life.
I love it. I mean, okay, so I consider myself a bit of a tinkerer, gadget guy, and I've always felt a special bond with folks like Doc Brown and Garth Algar from Wayne's World. Mm-hmm. So I just love the giant amp as a way to introduce Doc's technological creativity, a sort of unfocused creativity. Why did he build it? He probably doesn't know, just because he had the parts to make a gigantic amp. Why not?
I wouldn't be surprised if he built it because of his relationship with Marty.
I just took it to mean Doc is a guy who just follows his ADHD, for lack of a better word, and just makes stuff.
Could be
but
that
yeah,
too.
You're probably
yeah.
right. Maybe he made it specifically for Marty. Anyway, I think it fits great in this movie. I think it fits with the time. The 80s was like peak maximalism. Eddie Van Halen was the biggest name in rock. Mm-hmm. Like everything was just loud. Loud was good. Loud was in.
That's true.
But I think it's a great way to see the type of person that Doc is, what he likes to make. I also think it gives us a good intro to the character of Marty and sets the tone for his like, oh man, do we have to sort of attitude throughout the series.
That's true.
So the first bit of actual music we get in the film, Marty's band, the Pinheads, trying out for the school Battle of the Bands.
Playing Power of Love from Huey Lewis, just like a hard rock version of it.
Yeah, and being judged by none other than Huey, who famously says, "I'm afraid you're just too darn loud." Which I think is an excellent cameo. And it's funny because the version that they play is like a more hard rock version. Like you said, it's a little more of that Van Halen influence that Marty seems to be super into. Mm-hmm. So it's funny to me imagining Huey like actually thinking like, it is too loud. Like my shit's smoother than that.
Yeah. Let's hear a little bit of this hard rock version. Yeah, it's a lot more guitar forward for this version of the song.
It is, yeah.
Especially that.
I mean, this is where you get into that Van Halen shit.
Yeah, you're opening the song with a massive solo. It's like, that's a bold move.
I think they were showing that Marty can play and showing off a bit because he practiced a bunch. I don't know if you caught the behind the scenes featurette with him practicing his guitar. I don't think he wasn't actually playing there, but he was making sure that he mimed it just right.
Yes. So he learned how to play guitar for this movie, though he is not featured on any of the recordings. He still did learn how to play the guitar. He was taught by Paul Hansen, who is a very famous Hollywood guitar coach. And Paul Hansen is also the bassist for the Pinheads in the movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't even catch that. I saw him in that video, and I didn't catch that he was the bass player in the band in the film.
Yep.
That's great.
Fun fact about the song The Power of Love by Huey Lewis. That was Huey Lewis and the News' first #1 single.
Was it really?
It was, yeah.
Wow. They were in peak form as well.
Mm-hmm. And it was even nominated for an Academy Award. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it lost to Say You Save Me by Lionel Richie from the movie White Knights.
Wow. Isn't it funny when you look back in film history and it's like, oh yeah, the awards were swept that year by something you've probably never heard of.
Yeah, yep.
Something that had zero lasting power, apparently. Don't kill me if that's your favorite film.
I've never seen White Knights, to be honest with you.
You know, I just feel like that's the case sometimes. You go, oh, certainly Power of Love did well. Everybody knows Power of Love by Huey Lewis.
Did you catch The Power of Love in part 2?
No.
No?
No.
So after future Marty comes home from work and he gets into that argument with Needles and he starts playing on the guitar, he's strumming Power of Love.
Oh, wow. I didn't even pick up on that. Oh, man.
Yeah, dude. And Dustin, you have a pretty interesting connection to the song Power of Love and Back to the Future in general, but more specifically the song Power of Love, correct?
That I do. Back in our college filmmaking days, which you became a part of shortly after this clip I'm about to play.
That is true.
So I was part of this award show at my school that they did every year, and it was kind of this backdoor into making a film, basically, was what the class was. You got to a little bit of a budget, and you got to make about 30 to 45 minutes of film content, and it was often done as like a parody or something. The year I'm referring to, we did a parody of Back to the Future, and we came up with this song, styled after the work of Huey Lewis. This one's called The Power of Being Late.
The power of being late is a curious thing. Some alarm clocks tick and some of them ring. All these alarm clocks and they're not so...
This is a guy that we know. His name's Bill Parmentier, doing a fantastic Huey Lewis impression.
Bill Parmentier, wonderful actor here in St. Louis.
Oh, yeah.
Alarm clock you bought, baby it don't work. Then you are late and your dad's a jerk.
Such a jerk.
And it don't make a sound. That's the power that makes the world go round. Don't take electricity, don't take batteries. It's a gas-powered alarm clock. But if you put batteries in it, you better make them double A.
Oh, my God.
To your advantage. That's the power of being late.
It's a gas-powered alarm clock. Always gives me the giggles.
Yeah.
What a line. Yeah, that was... I mean, to be clear, I had no part in making this song. I was just part of the class that made this film that included this song.
Right.
And I've just loved it so much over the years that when we decided to talk about Back to the Future, I was like, I got to get a little of this in there.
Oh, yeah. Hey, I'm all here for it. I played the shit out of that song in college.
Yeah, to the extent that I think you were saying sometimes you misremember the lyrics to the Huey song.
Yeah.
Because you're thinking of the alarm clock song.
100%. Oftentimes when I'm singing The Power of Love, I will just insert random lines from The Power of Being Late, thinking that it's the lines from Power of Love. And then Huey Lewis is not singing what I'm singing. And I go, oh, shit. Well, hey, we got to do what Huey says, you know? It's time to move on to Marvin Berry and the Starlighters.
Yeah, Marvin Berry and the Starlighters are a doo-wop group playing high school proms. High school dances. I don't think it's a prom per se.
Yeah, they never refer to it as a prom. They just say the Enchantment Under the Sea dance.
They had a lot more dances back then. I mean, in the 50s, I feel like that was one of the few organized social things to do.
The hell else you gonna do?
Kids, yeah, go to the dance, go to the hop, as they said.
Yeah.
So when we first see them, they're playing historically accurate music.
Yes.
They really picked this year on purpose, it seems like, because 55 is when Chuck Berry and rock and roll happened. So tell us about Marvin Berry and the Starlighters, this high school dance playing doo-wop music group from the mid-50s.
Oh, man. Well, I mean, first off, they're great.
Yeah.
Second off, I have the real musicians that played the Starlighters, so we can get into that.
Oh.
Marvin Berry was played by Harry Waters Jr. He did the vocals and the guitar. On saxophone, we have Tommy Thomas. On the upright bass, we have Grainville Danny Young.
Ooh, what a name.
Right. Then on drums, we have Davis Harold Brown.
Okay.
And on piano, we have Lloyd L. Tolbert.
Nice. So these are the actors in the film, yes?
But they are also the musicians that recorded the music for the songs.
Oh, really?
They are real musicians. They are not actors.
I did not realize that. They don't have that musician acting, the stilted acting thing going on. They're good actors too.
Right? Yeah.
I would say they are actors, Shawn.
Yes, they're both. They're both, gosh dang it.
Yes.
And the first song that we hear them playing in the movie is the instrumental Night Train, which was originally recorded in 1951 by Jimmy Forrest.
Uh-huh.
Have you heard the Jimmy Forrest version of this song, Dustin?
I'm sure I've heard it, but I can't play. I don't know it offhand.
Well, let's listen to a little bit of it because I think it's pretty great. It's got a slower movement to it, and it kind of feels like something that I should be watching in a cartoon when like a cat is about to be nefarious toward its like neighbor dog it doesn't like.
Oh, sure. I'm also getting cartoon, but more like sexy, curvy lady who like moves in an unnatural, bendy, sexy way.
I can get on board with that.
But yeah, either way, it's a nice little jazz tune.
I really like the pace in which that one moves because for the Marvin Berry and the Starlighters version, it's significantly faster. I mean, this is still great though.
I mean, this is right on point for a dance.
Yes, this is definitely something that you can groove a little bit more to. Man, that sax is so good for this band.
You don't get a band with an actual sax player a lot these days when you're hiring for an event.
No kidding.
Yeah, that's a fun tune.
Then the next song that we see Marvin Berry and the Starlighters performing is Earth Angel. I will say a really cool, fascinating thing that is true about the Penguins' version of this song is that it was the first independent label song to hit the Billboard charts, where it peaked at number 8 in the best sellers in stores and number 1 for the best sellers in stores R&B charts.
Yeah, and this song was huge. Like this song, I don't even know what to compare it to from now. This was Uptown Funk, but even more so. Honestly, like this song was everywhere. And also I just want to say the timing on this is interesting because obviously in Back to the Future they go back to 1955. And Earth Angel as recorded by the Penguins was released in October of 1954. So this was a pretty fresh song. This would have been one that the kids were into that they just found out about. What's crazy is Earth Angel then went on to be, I think, released again in 55, after being released in 54. It sold 1 million copies by 1955. It experienced another wave of popularity in the summer of 56, and it was released again in 1960. By 1963, it had sold 2 million copies. And get this, Shawn, it was still selling thousands of copies a week worldwide in 1983. This song was still in the public conscious very much when this film came out.
Grand total, this song has sold over 10 million copies, and that is crazy.
Yeah. For a song.
I think one of the main reasons that this song has stuck around for as long as it has is because there are so many people that cover the song throughout all of the decades. Even in 1954, a group called the Crew Cuts covered it. It hit number 3 on the pop charts. Elvis Presley did a cover of this. The Vogues did a cover of this in 1970, hit 42 on the Billboard charts. New Edition did a cover of it in 1986, hit 21 on the Billboard charts.
Oh, wow.
But before we get too carried away on these covers, let's go ahead and just get a small little sample of the original Penguins version of this song, so that way we can sort of differentiate on the different versions.
Quintessential doo-wop song.
Yes, 100%. It's great. You can see why that song took off for decades and decades and decades.
It's like so many songs we talk about, but I think we've said this before, but I really mean it now. A true classic.
And I do have a few other versions of the song that I would like to play for you. Next up, I would like to play the Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons version. I really like this one because it has these really cool, like, rat-a-tat-tat drums, and I love Frankie Valli's super high voice. You hear that tat-tat-tat with the drums? I fucking love that.
Yeah, yeah.
The vibes are so much higher in terms of like the energy, and it's like, you know,
yeah.
It's still a slow dance song, but it's not, you know, like.
But it's been Motownified.
Right, yeah.
It's, you know, it's approaching something new. What year did that come out?
1964, Dustin.
Ooh.
This next one's from Johnny Tillotson from 1961. It hit 57 on the Billboard charts, and to me, it feels the most like the movie version. So I feel like if they were going to take one of them, this one was probably the one that inspired the movie a little bit more.
Oh, okay.
Because it added these strings to it, and I think the movie replaced the strings with the sax.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Totally.
Right?
So funny story, just to add to what you're saying here, the original intent for this song was for it to have more instruments layered and likely some horns or strings,
okay,
or something like that. But this is actually a true garage band recording. They recorded this in a garage, had to stop multiple times because of the neighbor's barking dog. The backstory on this song is particularly complex in terms of who wrote it and all that stuff. But to make it short, somehow it got to the radio stations. It got played, the demo version that they recorded in the garage, and it immediately started selling to the extent that they couldn't press enough records to keep up with it. And so at that point, the producer said, well, screw whatever plans I had. We don't need to add anything. It's perfect. Was that your last cover version?
Now, dear listeners, you would think that would be all of the covers I'm going to talk about, but you would be motherfucking wrong, because in 2022, Bob Gale showed up to a Back to the Future the Musical live performance on Back to the Future Day, and he called out Harry Waters Jr. and the person that was playing Marvin Berry in the stage show, Tavio Wright, to come on stage as part of the curtain call and sing Earth Angel together.
Oh, wow.
I'm just a fool in love with you.
This is Harry Waters Jr. This is the original Marvin Berry.
Mm-hmm.
I fell for you. And
sounds great.
He sounds great.
the vision of your love, loveliness.
Still got it, man. Still got it.
Yeah, that guy was good to his voice over the years.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
And then we're going to round it out perfectly.
Uh-huh.
A Coldplay cover. This is a live version.
Uh-huh.
Featuring Michael J. Fox on guitar.
I knew where you were going with this one.
Pretty cool that they pulled him on stage to do this, honestly.
Pretty cool, yeah. So speaking of Harry Waters Jr.,
Oh.
are you aware of a festival that takes place every year in Argentina called Fiesta del Futuro.
No.
So this is something I found. There is a yearly festival dedicated to Back to the Future every year in Argentina, in Buenos Aires.
Okay.
Yeah, they advertise it as a worldwide celebration of Back to the Future. And on at least several occasions through the years have also gotten Mr. Harry Waters Jr. to show up.
Awesome. He seems so down to be doing this, like, for the rest of his existence.
So cool, yeah.
He's fully embraced it, you know? It's like, that's awesome.
That's great.
To get us into Johnny Be Good, Michael J. Fox also played that with Coldplay live at the exact same concert. So
yes.
Here's a quick clip of that.
Our hero, Mr. Michael J. Fox. Come on, man. Yes.
Yeah, that's fun. That's like the most fun thing I've ever seen Coldplay do.
Yeah. Totally fair. Totally fair. The original Johnny Be Good was recorded by Chuck Berry in 1958.
Yeah, so it was really right around the corner, this rock and roll thing. In fact, Chuck Berry's song Maybelline, which was kind of his breakthrough, came out in 55.
Oh, okay, sure.
I mean, what is there to say about Johnny Be Good? It's one of the first rock and roll smash hits. I mean, Chuck Berry is considered the founder of rock and roll. Chuck Berry is the inaugural member of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He also hails from our hometown of St. Louis.
He does, yeah.
Yeah, in fact, he was born at a house at 2520 Good Avenue. So Johnny Be Good is a reference to that.
Oh.
I mean, overall, Johnny Be Good is a sort of an autobiographical take on his life as a rock and roller. And this song, Johnny Be Good, is ranked 33 on Rolling Stone's 2021 version of their 500 greatest songs of all time. I think it peaked in 2004 at number 7. It's also one of the 27 songs that was included on the Voyager spacecraft golden record. It's one of the 27 songs we sent into space, presumably with instructions for how to play it for the aliens. I don't know.
Figure it out. So the thing about the movie version for this song is that Michael J. Fox did not do the vocals. Do you know who did do the vocals, Dustin?
I definitely knew that he didn't do the vocals. It's one of the more obvious dubs in that regard. But no, I actually don't know who provided the vocals on the recording.
Oh, okay. So it's a man by the name of Mark Campbell.
Okay.
And I found out some pretty fun stuff about Mark Campbell in preparation for this show.
Oh, like what?
One of which is that he was in a little band that I had not been familiar with called Jack Mack and the Heart Attack. And they wrote songs for a little movie from 1984 called Police Academy.
No way.
And I'm going to play you some of these songs. I love this song so much. Oh man, I've been dancing to that all week.
Oh, that's just coke-fueled 80s joy right there.
Oh my God, it's so good. It's so good. That song, in case you want to listen to it, is called She's in My Corner from the Police Academy soundtrack. This next one is called I'm Gonna Be Somebody, also from the Police Academy soundtrack. Oh man, huge fan. I was so happy when I found out this information. I thought that was good enough, right? I was like, what can be better than this guy being involved with some Police Academy songs? Well, how about...
There's more?
How about this guy being involved with the... the Cruella de Vil song from 102 Dalmatians?
Oh. When was 102 Dalmatians?
I think it was the year 2000.
Oh, okay.
Used to make you feel ill. Now suddenly she's dripping with goodwill.
I mean, this is like jingle writing. This is like, what's the song I got? Cruella de Vil. Cruella de Vil. Cruella de Vil. And then it's a baked beans commercial? Or, no, it's for a movie. Oh, okay.
Oh, man.
That's a good. Was that was the Mark Campbell? I assume no longer. That was not a Jack Mack and the.
Correct.
Okay.
That song was composed by Camara Camben, and then Mark Campbell did the vocals, to my understanding.
Gotcha. Okay. Jack Mack and the Whack Pack. What did you say?
Heart Attack. Jack Mack and the Heart Attack.
Jack Mack and the Heart Attack. That's a great 80s band name.
The other thing that I'll say about this version of the song is I find it interesting they recorded the entire song for the soundtrack instead of just using the movie version where Marty goes into the solo and then says, oh, I guess you guys weren't ready for that, but your kids are going to love it. Instead of doing that, they finished out the entire song for the soundtrack. I thought that was an interesting choice. Did that strike you as odd?
I don't know if it was odd. I think it's cool. I think it's always cool when they bother to record the whole song for things.
Do you know who recorded the guitar solo for the movie?
Oh, I sure don't.
It was a man by the name of Tim May, who is a very accomplished studio guitarist. Mm-hmm. And this guy has worked with literally everyone under the sun.
Oh, really?
Ray Charles, Frank Sinatra, Linda Ronstadt, Cher. He's worked on other movies like Forrest Gump and Austin Powers, TV shows like King of the Hill and Melrose Place. This guy has worked on everything.
Wow, yeah. Those studio folks, when they're good, they stick around forever, and they get calls all the time because the job is done in a day usually.
Yep.
Or two. Mm-hmm. It's like voice actors. It's like, how can you possibly be involved with so much stuff? It almost breaks the brain.
Yeah, it's super impressive.
Because it would take you longer to ingest all that content than it took them probably to do their work in it.
100% it would, yeah.
Earth Angel had a ton of studio covers.
So many other ones I didn't even name.
Johnny Be Good, less so with the studio covers, but it is a song that so many bands have busted out live. So, with that in mind, Shawn, I was thinking we might play a little game called Who's That Singing Johnny Be Good?
Is this multiple choice?
I'll give you hints.
Okay.
If needed. Okay. First one coming at you.
Is that Elvis? Oh!
Sure is. You're 1 for 1.
How many do we get?
I don't know. We'll see. Okay. Number 2 coming at you.
All right. Tom Petty. Yes!
Nice work. Third one coming at you. This might be the first curveball for you.
Great. Real Big Fish.
This one didn't start where I queued it up, so you got some extra time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm never going to get it by a guitarist unless maybe it's Slash. Melissa Etheridge?
Holy shit!
Oh my God!
Good job! Good going! I really thought that was going to be the first no for you. All right. You ready for this one?
Uh-huh. Oh, the audio quality is not as good for this one.
The audio quality is not as good, and I think this is an instrumental cover. I don't think you're going to get vocals.
Oh, man, that's so much harder. I mean, like, I want to say Hendrix just because of that, because the audio quality is so bad. But yeah.
Nope. I'll give you one more guess. It is a person known for their guitar playing, obviously.
Sweaty Teddy.
It is someone you mentioned last time. It is Slash.
Son of a bitch! You did that on purpose.
I sure did.
You were like, oh well, I do have a Slash one. Let's see if you can get it. Fuck me running.
I gotcha.
That's fine. I got the Etheridge.
No, that was an amazing play. All right, this one you'll get some vocals.
Well, we're down in Louisiana, crossing New Orleans. I'm back up in the woods among the evergreens. There stood a log cabin made of wood.
Kevin Bacon.
All right, this is the last time that I'm going to do this to you, I think. But you said it already, too. It's Ted Nugent. Sweaty Teddy himself.
That did not sound like Ted Nugent's voice.
Yeah, it's a weird recording. Let's spread our wings a little bit and get something that's a little bit of a different take.
Motley Crue? Poison. Sebastian Bach. God damn it, I don't know.
More leather. More leather than any of the other ones you've mentioned.
Rat.
Leather Daddy.
White Snake.
No. Close.
Fuck. Judas Priest? Ha!
All right. I can see you coming up with this voice.
Yeah. Oh, no. I don't know, man.
I'll lay you down easy on that one. It's REO Speedwagon.
Oh, man. I've seen REO live. I'm a big Speedwagon fan.
Have you really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they've played the Washington Town and Country Fair a few times back in the day.
They have. I did not see them there. I saw them when I was living in Chicago for the Rib Fest.
Oh.
Man, Speedwagon.
I got like 3 more, and they're all pretty unique voices.
His mother told him someday you will be a man. You will be the leader of a big old band. Many people will come from miles around.
It doesn't even sound familiar to me.
Play the music when the sun goes down. But maybe someday
I have literally no guesses.
All right. Elton John.
Oh, I never in a million years would have gotten that.
I had no idea he had that like crazy disco cover of Johnny B. Good.
Yeah, I didn't either.
This one, I'm fairly confident you will get based on the voice.
Yeah, that's Lemmy. That's God.
God himself.
Yeah. I mean, if you hear the voice of God, you're going to know it.
Yep, that's right. That's Motorhead. Last one.
Strumming to the rhythm that the drivers made. People
Tom Jones?
stop and say, oh my,
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, I closed it out with two wins at least.
You brought it around. All right, I got one bonus one for you.
Okay. Oh man. Green Day? Holy shit, no way!
Good job.
Wow! Wow!
Nicely pulled out. Yep. Well, that was our little game.
Wow.
Thanks for playing.
Hey, good game, man. Good game.
How many did you all get at home?
You know, I got like 6 in there. That's pretty good, I think.
I lost track. I'm not good at counting, but you got more than you didn't.
Yeah, the middle was weird, but I got the bookends real good. Now, Dustin, I know that I didn't tell you to watch the third movie for this, but you had told me something very interesting about your history with the third movie. What is that?
Oh, are you talking about how that I've seen it more than any other Back to the Future film?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was the least successful, so it was the one that always played on TV on like Saturdays. So I've just seen Back to the Future 3 a ton.
And that's totally fair, and I understand that. But since you let me know that information, that's why I felt comfortable not telling you to watch the third one before I ask you this question.
That may or may not have been smart on your part. My memory is famously pretty bad, but let's see what you got.
Do you remember the fictional band from part 3 of Back to the Future?
No.
You
I
don't?
didn't know there was a fictional band. No, not at all. Zero recollection.
Perhaps if you hear what they play in the movie, it will jog your memory.
Okay. Oh yeah, these are like the troubadours that like tell the story, right?
No. So this is at like the big dance scene where Doc almost gets shot in the back by Buford Tannen.
Yeah.
And this band is ZZ Top.
No way.
This is a Western version of this song. It's called Double Back.
So they're just playing one of their own tunes in a...
Yeah!
Oh, that's amazing. I was a much younger person the last time I watched Back to the Future 3. I had no idea ZZ Top was in that movie.
Uh-huh.
That's pretty great.
Now, Dustin, we're coming to the close of this here show, and you know what that means. I'm going to ask you the normal question. If the Pinheads or Marvin Berry and the Starlighters, or hell, the ZZ Top band from the third movie, if they were making music in our real reality, would you have listened to it? Do you think it would have been successful?
Oh, okay. I'm going to start from the back on this one because the ZZ Top question is easy. Hell yeah, I'd listen to that like bluegrass band. I dig that more than I dig actual ZZ Top, which is not to say I dislike them, but they've never been a big blip on my radar. But yeah, if ZZ Top, if the guys from ZZ Top started playing music like that, I would totally check it out. Yes.
That Western version of Doubleback is so fire. I am a big fan of it.
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, I guess I knew they could play, but like it's even more cred to their skills.
True.
Now, Marvin Berry and the Starlighters, that's a tough one because it's like, do I listen to a lot of like pre-Beatles, pre-Chuck Berry doo-wop stuff these days? No, it kind of just exists in the world and, you know, we're familiar with these songs. But I mean, hell, what a talented group of musicians. And it was so cool finding out that those guys that we saw on screen are the ones who played it.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I have no reason I wouldn't like them.
Sure.
And what was the last one? Oh, the Pinheads. I don't know. It's hard to say. They're a high school band. I personally don't think the Pinheads would have lasted.
I sort of feel the same way, you know, like the Pinheads just seem like that local band.
Yeah, totally.
Also, Marty sort of strikes me as a little too showboaty in terms of like his
very showboaty.
His guitar playing. And this is something that we'll talk about in a future episode, but it really reminds me of like Jack Black's character from School of Rock, about how he's so focused on doing the epic guitar solos that he just like overshadows all the other musicians and they end up hating him for it. It really feels like that probably was the outcome for the Pinheads.
Oh yeah, I think so. Yeah, it bit him both times that we see him play guitar. He went too hard and it turned the audience off. So yeah, poor Marty.
So what do you think, man? Did you see some pretty serious shit here or what, Dustin?
Yeah, well, it's all heavy stuff, man. It's all heavy stuff.
Is something wrong with the Earth's gravitational pull in the future? All right, that's been another episode of K-Flix Fiction Radio. Thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. If you liked this episode, go ahead and give us a rating and a review on whatever platform you're listening to this on.
Ooh, yes, please. That helps us a ton.
It helps so much. And if you have any suggestions for us, we have an email address now. You can hit us up at fictionradiopod@gmail.com. Let us know what we should be talking about on a future episode.
That's right. And check out fictionradiopod.com and pass it along to your friends, because that is how you can find all of our podcast feeds and social media feeds in one place.
And until next Monday, enjoy the rock and roll, everyone.